Remember that concealment? Oh, oh, statute of frauds. See, statute of frauds. Pooch. Fraudulent act, conduct involving bad faith, dishonesty, a lack of integrity, or moral turpitude. And I've told you about moral turpitude before. Pooch. Conduct satisfying the elements of a claim for actual or constructive fraud. Dishonest act, fraudulent or dishonest act, the fraudulent act. Now, issuing a dissolution of marriage where I was known where I was at the whole time, yeah, because I did go to my grandmother's for about mid-December until about mid-February. Yes, maybe my uncle kicked me out right after he issued the dissolution of marriage, knowing that I was there the whole time and I didn't get any mail. So did Mike Van Proyen, David Wilson, Wayne Condit, Sandra Taylor, and Lori Argyle all conspire to conceal the fraud of having a bad faith dissolution of marriage where you arrested me at the same moment as serving me? You reissued the protection order where I was found not guilty, and then you intentionally have held my son's hostage for over 7 years. I think they did. If you had sent it to my grandmother's house, the same house that she had lived in for 40 years, during, well, from, let's see here, okay, 12/31 of 2012, Settlement Conference Center hearing, but there is no record of that. We talked about that. Did you doctor the actual court record so as to defraud somebody of their rights? Ooh. And then declaration of marriage, parenting plan, motion hearing. Ooh. Ooh, ooh. Now, from 1/3 of 2013, yes, I was at my grandmother's house the whole time. And you could have gotten a hold of me at any time there. Yes. So really, it was just a fraudulent mailing or saying that you attempted to serve somebody when you didn't attempt to serve them. Why don't we just ask my Uncle Wayne, because he's the one that kicked me out, wasn't it? Why don't we ask my own mother, did you know where I was at for Christmas of 2012? Ooch. Did any of the relatives that Heidi and myself did have while married, did they know where I was at, where she could have sent me notice of court hearings, and you intentionally sent it to the wrong address? I would say that's a fraudulent dissolution of marriage with the intent to be dishonest, lack integrity, and commit the crime of moral turpitude. Oh, now, claim for actual constructive fraud, fraudulent or dishonest act. Oh, now this fraudulent conveyance, transfer an asset, by states of little or no consideration. I'm still wondering, is there any employees of Clallam or Jefferson County that know anything about Elmer and Verna Hulse? And is there any truth that I'm actually a multi-billionaire just because of inheritances where you all got paid to commit all this fraud so as to keep my inheritance for yourselves? Now, I talked to you a little bit about this, okay? Did you take my assets as an estate asset without informing me and then tried to make me look like I was mentally ill because of all those mental health evaluations so you could make a bigger grand scheme fraud of keeping my inheritances because you all got paid to commit the fraud of defrauding me of my assets? Let's think about the estate of Edward Budnick in Yuma, Arizona. Yes, government employees. Any possibility that my grandfather that had that place from approximately a 16-year-old, yes, that did have an actual well to the aquifer, that you're owing me 25 plus years worth of the damage of taking my water without having me notified of the estate, or my father or my grandmother, because a half brother showed up and decided to have a funeral. Dick Cheney, George W. Bush, HW, are you still alive out there? How many presidents don't think that? Raymond Arthur Arp, the biological father of Wayne Arthur Arp and Sandra Lee Arp. Um, is there any truth that when Wayne was working in the logging mill here in Port Angeles, approximately 25, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, yes, that he got introduced to some friends in Clallam County when he was driving some heavy equipment at the logging yard? Now, it would be something if somebody found about the Monster Clan 40 years ago and decided, well, we're really going to set him up and we're going to defraud him of his sons and we're going to bribe every public official so that there's no possible way that I won't get my assets, that I won't sue you. Now, little logging companies, yeah, that decided to get my way, I'll take every fucking asset. Now, why don't we call Wayne Arthur Arp and find out what Raymond Arthur Arp really did own? Because I'm thinking that somebody was bribed to keep me from my inheritance. Ooch, my sons. Oh, do you think I'm mentally ill? Let's call Sheriff Bill Benedict. Sheriff! Did your family know my family, the Hulse family, Elmer and Verna, Pooch, my great grandparents? Did you know of Clara? Ooch, how about Ray Hulse on O'Brien Road? Is there any possibility? Now, you stupid fuckers.